This DJ Maphorisa situation is crazy. And I wanted to use this topic of DJ Maphorisa and kind of expound on it because there's some important things and an important conversation we need to have based off the situation here. Welcome back to another episode of The Couch. If you're new here, at the end of this video, I'm going to put a playlist of this whole series that I do here on the channel, which I am really enjoying because we can have conversations and we can just talk about everything, music, production, and just music in general in terms of, the music industry and stuff like that. So today I wanted to go over the DJ Maphorisa situation, the issue that he's having with Something Soweto. And to be honest, the situation itself, when it started up, it was very unfair how Something Soweto can be part of a song and then it doesn't get credited. And I was like, what the hell? That's very weird because I didn't know the song at first. So I thought that maybe initially he was featured on the song, and then maybe when they finally released the song, they took his vocals out and then released it, and then they did not credit him. So I thought that was the situation. And then later on, when I started to pay attention to the issue, then I listened to the song, and he was there. You understand? So I'm like, what in the world is going on? How do you have someone on your track and feature them, but then you never credit them? Like, I don't care how much equity they had in the song, but a feature is a feature. If my voice is there, God damn it, you're gonna have to credit me somehow. You understand? So that was very, very surprising. And it only took the internet coming together and fighting on behalf of Something Soweto for him to only then get credit. You know what I mean? So that's a really funny situation. And then the situation even got worse after that, where now Something Soweto and DJ Maphorisa are now speaking out on it, and now they're having their whole dispute. So much was said and so much happened. Like, I was just following it, here and there as best as I could, but what I'm picking up from all of this is that they were having a dispute based off the business side of everything that I've been doing. And to be honest, DJ Maphorisa is not one who's had a clean relationship slate with everyone. Like, there's a lot of people have things that they say about him in terms of the business side, things not working out and everything. And for me, and how I look at this situation with him and Something Soweto, the situation is about the business and them coming to an agreement about the business of the music itself, which is something that's really important because when I was coming up, I collaborated with a lot of people, and when you're collaborating and you're all coming up, you don't really focus in on these business conversations because you're like, you know what, we're just going 50-50 and we're just going to split all of this equally as best as we can because, look, we all have nothing, we're all losing nothing, and we're just doing what we can. We're all pitching together. So, it's gentlemanly arrangements that you put together if, when you're up and coming. But at a certain level, you have to start having these business conversations. And you have these business conversations before you even start working with people, which is how I look at it. Like, before we even get into the studio, we need to set up these rules and these boundaries because sometimes it's a mistake when you have this conversation after the work has been done. Now everyone feels ways. They're like, okay, look, we've worked on this song, but I feel I deserve 50%. I feel like I deserve 80%. I feel like I deserve 20% or whatever. And then someone else disagrees. They're like, no. You don't deserve that kind of percentage of this big pie because, I probably did more or you didn't do as much work to deserve that. And then you start to have these arguments and conversations where you don't see eye to eye. So for me, their situation is situations that I think happen all the time in the music industry, but we rarely see them and they're not publicized because they happen behind closed doors. All we see is them posting stories and videos of them working in the studio, everything looking cool, everybody's having fun, but we don't see when they now have these conversations and negotiations when it comes to, who owns what of the song, how much percentage, which is a very important conversation that even when you're starting out, I think you really do need to have, which is a mistake that I also made where I was not having these conversations with the people I was working with. Because we were like, you know what, the song might not really go anywhere. This might not go anywhere. So we were like, you know what, it doesn't really matter. We'll just do what we do. If something does happen, then maybe we'll just, speak again and be like, okay, bro, I made the beat and the studio was mine and this and that. So I kind of deserve a little bit more than you. You just did this, or maybe you just came through and you played only the keys and then I did the rest of the beat and then I also laid down the vocals and things like that. So you kind of have to work it out because at the end of the day, it's all about negotiation, right? Because it's business. You negotiate and then you come to an agreement depending on how the situation is and how you're all seeing whatever's going on. So it's something that has no set rule where you can actually go ask people like, okay, look, what kind of percentage do I deserve for this type of work? There is no set like rule of how much you want to ask for, how much you should be getting in those type of situations. Because if you really look at it, when it comes to even record labels give artists around 10% to 15%. Like 15% is like the highest and luckiest, if you're really lucky, for you to get as a percentage of any works that you're involved in. And I don't want to get too deep when it comes to these things and copyright and all that, because it gets really complicated. Sometimes it even confuses me. But that's where having representation and people that are in charge for you for these things really helps, which I am pretty sure that a lot of up and coming artists don't even have. And even some of the artists I'm now noticing that are even in the industry themselves, like people like the Something Sowetos and other vocalists like that, I don't think they have representation like that, people that can negotiate these things for them. Because on a higher level in the industry, there should be people that are representatives of these artists, where they do the negotiations on behalf of each party, and then they figure it out, and then it happens, and then this person is told, I don't know, like an agent or something like that. I don't know what their title will be, but someone has to be the one that has these conversations on behalf of that person, so that they can iron it out and figure it out. And then the creatives just stay in the studio and they just work, but the business side is handled by someone who can handle business, and people that can come together and negotiate these things fairly for each party. Like basically what a lawyer does. You cannot, obviously you can't stand for yourself in court if you want to, but it's best to have a lawyer, right? Because they know what they're doing, they know everything. So I think in these business conversations, you need to know what you're doing. So having someone that represents you is a really good idea, but not all of us can afford that, which means that we as independent artists, we now have to find a way to educate ourselves when it comes to the business side of music. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have issues, because these issues are going to happen. So I know it's probably a lot of songs that never come out, because probably people that have worked together on that song didn't come to an agreement when it comes to the business of the song, and then they just like, what, we're just gonna scrape the song and scrap it, and it's not even gonna come out. So things like these do happen. I'm pretty sure they do happen, but it's only now that we're now seeing it and seeing it play out live, in the public, like the situation with DJ Maphorisa and Something Soweto. And it's just really strange, and it's interesting to use this as a case study to be like, oh, this is what could happen also on this high level, because these are not just small artists that we're looking at. These are guys that are on top of, the house music game here in South Africa. So it's something to really look at and learn from, and be like, what, the business needs to be good, and we need to come to an agreement and things like that. So that's why I wanted to talk about this, because it's a strange situation to talk about, because now it involves money and things like that. And sometimes people can even inflate their own value depending with how much they put in. Someone can come through and just say, what, I'm just gonna play this log drum part or this piano part, but then they're going to ask for 70%. They're like, what, the song is nothing without this part I played, this simple part. Screw everything else that you did, all the work that you did after that. It's, for me, I made the melody that took this to another level. Or even a vocalist can come through and be like, what, my singing made the song. A beat maker can come and say, my beat made the song, so I deserve more. So it's really crazy when it comes to these things, because the value of anything is subjective. It depends with who is, who the person who's seeing value is, and how much they value that certain thing. So sometimes working with people becomes frustrating, and sometimes you just got to work on your own and do everything on your own, because working with people is a problem, because now you have to decide on these things, like what's going to happen and things like that. But if you've been following this whole story of DJ Maphorisa and Something Soweto, let me know what's your take on it. What do you think? Do you have anything you want to say about the situation, and what are your thoughts basically about the situation? This is what I'm thinking in this whole situation. Like this is exactly my thoughts, and I wanted to share that with you. You guys, let me know what you think down below. And again, I will drop a playlist here on the screen of this whole couch series. If there are any other topics that you might want me to cover on this series, you can also drop them down below in the comments. Let's meet down there, man. If you're new here, like and subscribe and join the channel. I'll have some music production videos coming very soon, and more videos like this also coming through. So make sure to stay locked in. I'm X, and I'm out. Peace.